Am I the a-hole for not forgiving my sister for crashing my car? Original post. My stepsister, female 21, crashed my female 18 new car after I told her she couldn't use it again. My stepsister, we'll call Paula, had 2 cars. Both she got from her dad and my mom, and she destroyed both of them within months of getting them. My mom and her dad got married when I was 11 after my dad died 3 years prior. I had a hard time accepting her dad and her, but in the end, I got used to it, and we have a solid relationship, or at least her dad and me. Paula got her first car when she was 17 just after she got her license. It was an older Audi she got from her dad. It wasn't the nicest car, but a good start. She didn't like the car, but it was better than nothing, so she used it. But after 4 months, she crashed it into my mom's car as she was coming back from a party. The second car she got last year for Christmas. My mom and her dad bought it for her. But guess what? She drove it into the river on New Year's because she forgot to put the handbrake on. My mom and her dad were furious, but she didn't care. She said she would just buy a new car and they should chill out. She moved out afterwards to her own apartment. So I just bought myself my dream car, a Mini Cooper 2014. I did years of saving for it. My stepsister visited 2 weeks ago over the weekend while I was at my grandparents' house, so she thought she could use my car while I was gone and drove shopping with it. When I got home, I saw a huge scratch at the back. I asked my mom how it got there, and she was clueless. She didn't know Paula took the car while they were sleeping. Paula, looking all innocent, said she took the car on a little shopping tour because I wasn't using it. I was so angry at her and said if she ever uses my car again without my permission, I would kick her butt to the moon and back. She said she was sorry and that some idiot scratched it, not her. When I was coming home today, I saw my car crashed into the wall in front of our house, and Paula, my mom, and her dad standing beside it. I was furious. I asked what happened and why my car was in the wall. Paula said she accidentally crashed it because she wanted to drive it to the nail salon and she confused the front and reverse gears. I exploded. I screamed at her that I want her to pay for the car and that she was a horrible person because she didn't even look guilty for destroying it, and she should never drive a car again in her life because all she does is cause accidents. I stormed away and locked myself in my room. Her dad said I should forgive her and that it was an accident and that we were sisters. I was shocked and so disappointed in my mom because she said nothing against it. I said that she wasn't my sister and I would never forgive her, and that I would move to my grandparents, and that she should better pay for my car or I would sue her. He said that I was a brat talking to them like that and that not forgiving her would make me a bad human being. So am I the a-hole for not forgiving her? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. This is lunacy. Is she wasted 24/7 or something? Does she even have a license or insurance? She got her license after her 3rd try and almost got it withdrawn for speeding, but my uncle works at a police station, so she always gets out of trouble. Not the a-hole. She stole your car, drove it, then wrecked it. She did not have your permission to use it, therefore it was stolen. Personally, I'd report her to the police and press charges. If that doesn't get her attention, then I am afraid nothing will. The facts are clear. No permission to use it plus person uses it anyway equals theft of car. Yep, this. Plus, OP's insurance rates will go up if it's an accident OP allowed. Call the police and report it as an unauthorized use of the car. Call insurance and make sure they know that the driver was explicitly prohibited from using the car. Take the payout from insurance and buy a new car. Stepsister can then deal with the insurance companies collecting from her or her insurance. If that means her rates go through the roof or she has legal problems, too freaking bad. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. If you're 18, the car is in your name and you paid for it, report it stolen. She needs to see consequences for carelessness. Have her charged with theft and tell her you won't drop charges unless she pays up immediately and both your parents apologize to you. Then, move to your grandparents as you can't trust any of them. Now for the first update. Today morning, I got a call from my stepdad saying Paula came crying and drunk driving in a car to them and begged him to try to change my mind to the police because she doesn't want to get into trouble. He said if I go to the police, my uncle won't do anything for me and that I'm no longer welcome at home. I just got back from the police station and filed a report of theft and damage to property against Paula, but turned out Paula and her dad called the police and said that I would frame her and that I crashed the car into the wall myself. So I'm on the way to a lawyer to help me with all of that. I also called my insurance company, and they said that would work on getting me the money I deserve. I'm now living at my grandparents' house and will distance myself from the rest for a while. Some of you had some questions about stuff, so I don't know why my mom didn't say anything against Paula and her dad. She's normally very vocal on her bad driving skills. Paula got both cars bought for her because she doesn't have the money to buy one herself, but I had to, so they only bought her the cars. When she crashed into my mom's car, she only damaged the right side of the car, so my mom wasn't that angry at her. And Paula always got out of trouble because my uncle always got her out of it. She got her license after the third time trying and only after my mom helped her out. She also got into an accident when she drove my mom's car and went to hospital for a broken leg, but nothing really happened to the car. I will update when something happens, and thank you for all the support in the comments. It helped a lot. With family like that, who needs enemies? Selfish to the core. Only contact them via text or email so you can get proof of communication for your lawyer. I would also report her reckless driving to your local driving. Advise them of the cars she has damaged and totaled, and the fact she has done the same to your vehicle by taking it without permission. Let them know, because of her reckless driving, that you are concerned that she will end up killing someone. I'm glad you are with her grandparents now. I think your mom is being pretty spineless for not standing up for you. I wish you well. Please let us know how you get on. I am so sorry you're going through this. Your parents and stepsister are absolutely horrible humans, and your stepfather had the audacity to say you were a horrible human. I also hope they get in trouble for filing accusations against you with the police that are false. Hang in there, and try to keep your head up. Second update. Just found out that my stepsister tried to fight my mom after she contacted me and wanted me to come back home. She's in the hospital right now because Paula broke her nose. I'm now on my way to her and hope she's alright and sees what kind of a person she really is. Paula also got arrested for stealing the car from a neighbor, and my stepdad is not talking to my mom or me right now, and my mom is thinking about getting a divorce. I don't really know what to say. I'm just overwhelmed with the situation right now, so yeah. She stole the neighbor's car? While being investigated for stealing a different car, and stepdad is mad at them? What the actual hell is wrong with this girl? Let's think about it. She got away with crashing 2 cars. Nobody other than OP cares she's driving drunk. She thinks she literally has cops wrapped around her finger. So yes, it is not hard to believe she thinks she can add thefts to this chain of mess. She never had any reason to restrain herself. That helpful family, that sweet uncle, is literally pushing this lady and anyone around her to death. Good cop records won't help you if you are having eternal sleep underground, or you can't move your fingers anymore. She could also have some kind of personality disorder. She has zero impulse control. I mean, breaking mom's nose after she supported her for so long? Stealing and crashing car after car? Continuing to drive drunk when any sane person would have stopped after the first crash? What kind of a dumbass would take a neighbor's car? Same dumbass that would wreck 3 cars and not consider that maybe she should change her habits. Really though, seems like alcohol or substance abuse may be a factor. Opie mentioned that she drove drunk to her parents. What are the odds she had been not sober the other times too? Being drunk or high would explain why she'd be dumb enough to steal a neighbor's car. I had a friend in high school who needed to take her driver's test, something like 12 times. They let you retake only the parts of the test you failed previously, so she incrementally passed it, a few skills at a time. I rode with her exactly once, and afterward silently swore I would never get in a car she was behind the wheel of again. It's kind of amazing that people can be that terrible at driving and not realize they need to stop doing it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my kid if he can't share his food, it might be time for him to move out? On Valentine's Day, I got 2 large pizzas for my family to eat, and then I went to work. When I got home from my night shift, I went into the fridge and saw that there was still half a pizza left. I warmed up 3 slices for my supper and watched some TV with my cat while I ate. My son got up before I went to bed and looked in the fridge, and he got upset that I ate the food he was planning on taking for his lunch. There was lots of other food in the fridge, but he said he told his mom that he was taking the pizza for lunch and that I was greedy for eating it. I asked him if he would be greedy for taking the pizza for lunch, and he got pissy and left. My wife woke up when she heard us arguing, and she said that he had asked her and she said yes. I said, great, where's my dinner then? She said she didn't make me anything since there were leftovers. I asked her what leftovers, and a light bulb went off in her head. She said she was sorry for not making me dinner. I told her it wasn't her fault. There were leftovers. Then my son came back into the room and started arguing again that he had already claimed the leftovers for himself. This is where I might be the a-hole. I asked him how much he paid for the food. $0. How much he paid in rent? $0. Utilities? $0. We are letting him live here so he can save money while he's in college. But I'm sick of this entitled little jerk-off. So I told him if he had a problem with me eating his leftovers, maybe he should move out so he can have his food safely stored away from me. My wife says I'm taking it too far, but he backed down pretty quick and said no, and that he was sorry for saying anything. My wife says I'm being an a-hole for scaring him with kicking him out over some leftover pizza. But I'm not. I'm making sure he knows the best way to keep food that I paid for safe from me is to live elsewhere and buy your own food. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Reading the comments, he is 22. He is living at home rent-free. He isn't contributing to the household budget, and he thinks he can claim food you paid for. Unless you took it out of his lunch bag, you are not the a-hole. Info, does he have a job? He has a job. We are letting him stay here so he can save money. We are even paying for his college. He doesn't help out with anything except chores around the house. Not wrong that there's a little whiff of entitlement, but he seemed pretty straightened out after you pointed out costs here. But is your wife a bit of an enabler? She seems to jump to giving him his way in all of this. His leftovers? Leftovers are only leftovers when everyone has had their share for the meal. Your retort to him about what bills he pays in the house is pretty spot on. That's something any parent I know would say. Sucks being on the receiving end of that quip, but it is valid. Your wife sounds like an enabler, and is just as selfish as your son if she allows him to claim a half pizza for his lunch after you went without. He does sound like a turd. Sorry you have to deal with him. Not the a-hole. Exactly this. It's not leftovers if everyone hasn't eaten. It's still dinner. This is how my 4-year-old may behave if we eat the last strawberry he's saving in the fridge. Even then I feel I need to gently teach him to be considerate. OP, not the a-hole. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife I will stop gambling when she stops buying art supplies? My wife, 29 female, and I, 28 male, have been married for 3 years. We are currently saving up to buy our first house. We started saving about a year ago and are hoping to buy a home this summer if the market in our area adjusts in a beneficial direction. We are already pre-qualified with a lender and are closing in on our goal amount for the down payment. Once a month, I will go to a nearby casino and spend some time gambling. I do the same thing every time I go. I put $200 in one pocket and use that for gambling, and anything I win goes into a different pocket. Once the $200 is gone, I leave with whatever money I have in the other pocket. I usually just sit at a $5 blackjack table, since that's the game I enjoy the most. And if I just make minimum $5 bets, I can play for a couple hours and call it a night. Most nights I end up around even. But sometimes I lose $100 to $150, and a few times I've come home with an extra $200 to $300. I never, ever take out more than the $200 I allow myself to start with. And if I come home with winnings, that money goes directly to the house fund. My wife, on the other hand, is an artist and spends a lot of her free time painting and drawing. She has a very large collection of paint and other supplies, and spends a lot of money on her supplies and equipment. She will sometimes sell a painting or drawing to friends or family, but she mostly just does it for her own enjoyment and relaxation. She doesn't do commissions or anything that would make money off her art. This past weekend, I was going to go to the casino, but my wife stopped me before I left. She said I shouldn't be going to the casino and throwing money away when we are trying to save for a house. I told her that I don't see how me going to the casino once a month for $200 is any different than her buying new art supplies. I gestured towards a box of new art supplies my wife had just gotten and asked her how much all of it cost. She didn't answer that and said that it's different because art is a hobby for her and gambling could lead to addiction. I reminded her of my system and that I never stray from it. I told her I just do this because I enjoy it, like a hobby, and that anything I come home with goes into the house fund anyway. She said if I had just taken all the money I spent at the casino, we could already be at our goal by now. And I told her I could say the same thing about her art supplies. I told her I will make a deal with her. I will stop going to the casino if she can go 2 full months without buying new art supplies and only using the things she already has. She told me that's not a fair deal because she's always discovering new things she needs as she progresses through projects. I told her in that case I'll be home from the casino in a few hours. She got mad at me and told me I'm being a selfish jerk and for caring more about gambling than getting a house. I left instead of fighting with her. Ended up coming home up $150. Not the a-hole. This is your hobby. You have a set limit, it's once a month. Sounds reasonable. Agreed. Gambling can be an addiction, but it sounds like it's just something you enjoy doing and have control over. Anything can be an addiction. Just because gambling is a problematic one for lots of people doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. As long as you're being responsible and you get enjoyment out of it, and occasionally even make money, then definitely not the a-hole. Your wife has to accept that your hobby is somewhat unorthodox, but you derive pleasure from it, and she shouldn't try to stop you unless you start changing the rules. As in going once a week, or upping your $200 limit to $400, or going for broke like no savings pocket every time. Not the a-hole. I'm not a big fan of gambling either, but you have a very reasonable set of boundaries. It's a hobby. As long as you stick to your boundaries, you'll be fine. Admittedly, I also have a craft supply problem myself. I think you should probably sit down together and make a budget in which both of you set aside an equal amount of fun money that you can individually use on your chosen hobbies. Whatever those hobbies are, the other person doesn't get to pass judgment on what you do with it, so long as you keep to that budget. I'm honestly very impressed that OP's so disciplined. I was expecting this to be more of an addiction, but it's very much a hobby for them, not the a-hole.
Update. I'm eloping on Friday because my family wants us to delay the wedding until my brother gets released from prison. We don't want to wait, so we are just going to the courthouse by ourselves. Original post. Ever since I got engaged a month ago, my parents, my brother, and some of my other family have been pressuring us to wait to get married until my other brother is released from prison. My fiancé, female 29 and I, also 29, plan to have the wedding in November. My brother will be in prison for at least another 5 years. There is no guarantee he will be released then. That is just the earliest he could be released. My brother went to prison over my nephew's death. My brother and his wife were convicted of manslaughter because the law required everyone on the boat to wear a life jacket, and my nephew wasn't wearing one. His death destroyed my entire family. I don't want to wait another 5 years, and neither does my fiancé. We have been together for 3 years, and we are ready now. I know my brother going to prison was hard on everyone, including me. I have missed him being around for so many years. I thought if I talked to my brother, he would be understanding and tell everyone to stop pressuring us. But instead, he got mad at me for wanting to get married while he was in prison. After that, my fiancé and I decided we are just going to go to the courthouse on Friday by ourselves. No one in her family will care if we elope. And honestly, we are done with the pressure. We aren't going to tell anyone until afterward. Neither of us cares about having a big wedding, and I am so tired of everyone telling us to wait until my brother gets out. I don't care if anyone is angry with us. I honestly don't. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Your family is really entitled. The world isn't waiting for your brother to get out of the prison. Your entire family is insane for thinking you had to wait. Obviously, brother didn't ask for permission to do his crimes, so him getting upset that you're living your life is ridiculous. When I read the title, I thought it would be waiting like a month or two. When OP said 5 years, I thought that was just ridiculous. Wait 5 years? I suppose a compromise would be to get legally married at the courthouse and host a reception or coming home party when the brother is paroled. But I also kind of feel like it would be absurd to expect family members to delay major life events just because one person was arrested. Part of being in jail is being isolated from society, which continues to move on no matter how badly you want it to pause. Alternatively, see if an off-site video visit would be possible during any events, so the brother can feel like he's part of the family, even though he's doing time. If you really want to be absurd with this, have someone do the actual ceremony inside the jail during a visit, so the brother can at least watch. Neither of those would be allowed under the prison rules and policies. There is absolutely no chance, and I wouldn't have my wedding inside a prison anyways. Now for the update. I just want to say how much I appreciated the supportive comments on my first post. My wife and I did go to the courthouse on Friday, just the two of us. We didn't tell a single person beforehand. We spent Friday and Saturday at home together. Today, before my wife and I both went to work, we called her parents and her sisters to tell them. And then we called my parents. After that, we emailed or messaged some other family and friends. Everyone in her family understood why we eloped. My family? Not so much, but I don't care after the way they acted. My brother and his wife have already been in prison for several years, and the earliest they could be released is 2030. My wife and I didn't want to wait 5 years to get married. Also, prison rules wouldn't allow my brother to watch a live stream or see a video later. We didn't want to have a vow renewal or a reception after my brother gets out. We don't see a need to have another ceremony or delay our celebration. We've made it clear to everyone we know that we don't want another ceremony or to have a reception or party, now or later. We don't think there's anything wrong with the focus being on the couple on their wedding day and not one of the guests. I absolutely hate what my brother did, and I was angry at him for a long time. My nephew was a toddler, and I think about him all the time and what he would be like now. I also miss my brother being around, and this tragedy and my brother going to jail have been difficult for everyone in my family, including me. That doesn't mean I can't be angry at my brother for how he acted about my wedding, but outside of that, I still do miss him. I don't regret eloping though. Friday was the best day, and I love my wife. We have no regrets about our courthouse wedding. I'm truly sorry about your family's situation, and I admire your decision to prioritize your happiness. It's understandable that you didn't want to wait, and it's great that you found a way to make it work for both of you. Exactly. Sometimes you just have to put yourself first. Really happy you made it all work out in the end. Wishing you the best married life. Thank you. I thought I would feel guilty about eloping and not telling my family about it, but I don't. My wife and I are happy and have no guilt about any of it. Congrats on your nuptials. Like I said on first post, your life doesn't revolve around the stupidity of your brother and family, especially when it's clear he may not even get out in 5 years anyway, due being unrepentant screw up. And rest of that side of the family is no better either, as his enablers. Do have brunch, lunch or dinner at a restaurant with your wife's family, or at least her parents to celebrate your marriage. Thank you. Like I said in my post, we have been clear with everyone that we don't want any kind of reception or gathering. My wife's family, unlike mine, is respecting our wishes on that and have only been supportive. Next story. My mom expects me to pay for my sister's wedding because I'm successful, and it's making me question everything. So I'm 28 female and work in tech, make decent money, but nothing crazy, like $85K. My sister is 25 female, works retail part-time, and is getting married next summer. My mom called me last week, acting all casual, asking if I could help out with wedding costs since I'm doing well. When I asked what she meant, she said they need about 15 grand, and that since I don't have kids or a mortgage, I should be able to swing it. Like what? I still have student loans, and I'm trying to save for my own place. I told her I could maybe do 2K max, and she got all weird, saying that's barely anything and won't cover the venue deposit. Then she hit me with, "Your sister has always struggled and this is her one special day." And I just sat there like, am I crazy or is this insane? I've worked my butt off for years, lived with roommates until I was 26, ate ramen for dinner half the time in my 20s. My sister dropped out of college twice, and has never had a full-time job longer than 8 months. Now my whole family is acting like I'm selfish. My dad texted me yesterday, saying I should think about what family means. Even my sister sent me this long message about how she never asks for anything and just wants one perfect day. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Am I supposed to fund everyone else's dreams because I figured my life out? I love my sister, but this feels so backwards, and I don't know how to handle this without ruining relationships. No, you do not fund her wedding. Buy her a nice gift. She is the way she is because your parents enabled her and allowed it. That's their problem, not yours. Family means that love and respect are not conditional or based on performance. They respect your boundaries and love you anyway. Performance doesn't equal love. Say no and let them throw a fit. They won't love you any better if you say yes, and they will always come to you anytime they need money. You may or may not have your own special day one day. You need to save your money for that. That could be a vacation or a house or a car or a wedding. Whatever that is, it's not their business. They asked, you answered. You are grown. Get comfortable with being unbothered when people try to cross your boundaries. It will save you a lot of money and therapy in the future. If saying no ruins your relationship, it was never worth saving. If this ruins OP's relationship, she can tell them, you should think about what family means. Learn to say no. Can't live a life without learning the most important word ever created. If they don't accept it and carry on with their nonsense, congrats, you just found out what your family's like. Now you get to ditch them with your conscience intact. If she doesn't say no now and set that boundary, they will be back. Her sister is pregnant and needs a nursery. Her sister needs a bigger car for the car seat to fit in. Sister is so tired from caring for children that she needs a vacation. Sister needs a house more than OP. There will be endless needs and OP will be expected to be the ATM. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my future in-laws for money? My fiancé's parents are loaded. Old money loaded. They can afford what I'm asking, no problem. I make very good money at my job. I'm currently 27 and earn over $170,000 a year. Tim is a teacher. He doesn't make as much, but he has a trust fund, so he works sort of as public service. It's big in his family. Recently, I had a weird conversation with him and his folks. They think after the wedding I should quit working and be a stay-at-home mom. I thought they were joking and kind of laughed. They were perfectly serious. They think it's emasculating that I earn more than Tim. Over the course of my career, I will earn much more than him. But his trust fund is low 7 figures. He could afford to pay me what I earn yearly, but he can't due to the stipulations of his trust. His mom, on the other hand, has lots of interest built up in her trust. So I offered a solution I thought was fair. They set up an unrecoverable trust for me. They must contribute my gross earnings yearly, with bumps for anticipated raises and promotions. The deposits would be for the next 35 years. That way, I'm a stay-at-home mom, Tim is the breadwinner, and I'm protected in the case of a divorce. They went freaking nuts. Apparently, I'm ridiculous for thinking they would give me money. So I offered a compromise. I signed a prenup wherein I am entitled to half of Tim's trust fund in the case of divorce if I give up my career. Also not acceptable to them. I'm kind of at a loss. Do they honestly think I would give up my career with zero safety net? My mom says I'm being kind of rude putting everything in such stark monetary terms, but I think I'm being reasonable. What do you think? Now for the top comments. Your proposals didn't fit their plan to totally control you and your husband and dole out money based on compliance with their instructions and ultimately being in charge of any children you have and so on. Get that prenup to protect you. Also, OP's proposals don't fit their belief that her getting married into the family is a privilege. They likely think for some delirious reason that the son is doing her a favor by asking her to marry. Not the a-hole. If it's emasculating that you earn more, that's a problem your fiancé needs to handle himself. You have earned your career and pension. They cannot expect you to just give that up to save face. I'd seriously consider whether or not you want to be a part of a family like that. And Tim either needs to back you on what you want or decide himself if he's okay with being emasculated. It never came up before. We have shared our bill 50-50 since we got together. He uses his trust to supplement his earnings. My extra money goes into my investment accounts. We don't live a lavish lifestyle. Using his trust already to supplement earnings is definitely enough of a red flag, for me, that giving up your career is a no-go unless they do agree to one of your stipulations. Is he part of the conversation with them, on your side, and wants you home as well? Or is it just his parents? He wants me to be a stay-at-home mom, but he was okay with either of my proposals. Last story. My 25 female best friend 25 female knew my husband was cheating on me and didn't tell me, saying she didn't want to hurt me. So, like the title said, I very unfortunately found out about a month and a half ago that my husband, 28 male, cheated on me. I know for a fact about 3 times, but I have to assume there were more. It was all with the same woman. I think she's 31 or 32, and they worked together. She was a guest at our wedding. He cheated on me while I was doing IVF. I had 3 miscarriages, 1 before and 2 right after we were married. And my point in including that is, I literally cried and cried to my best friend. She encouraged me to keep going and have faith. And aside from the fact that she saw how much I was struggling and crying to her because I knew how badly he wanted to be a dad, I'm really hurt she was going to let me get pregnant knowing I was being cheated on. Her husband also knew. He's pretty good friends with mine. She also comforted me right after I found out. At that point, I only knew about 1 occasion because I walked in on it. I found out recently that she knew about him cheating before our wedding. She found out the very first time he did it and still let me marry him. She was my maid of honor. If you're wondering, the way I found out was my soon-to-be ex came to our house. He had moved out, but came back to apologize and promised to tell me everything. He gave me his phone for proof. He told me who all knew, 2 of his friends and her. I saw texts between them. There was a very odd conversation that made my stomach turn, where he texted her saying he needed someone to talk to because he messed up again, and she was oddly sympathetic toward him. I will say, she was defending me to an extent in the rest of the conversations and arguing with him. But regardless, I wouldn't let her marry someone or have babies with them if I knew about cheating. I'll never forgive him, but I'm really trying to see this from her perspective. I'm hurt, but we've been friends for 14 years. She said she wanted me to be happy, and she thought he was changing. She also told me we should try couples therapy, despite the fact I have said I'm done. There was literally never 1 sign from her. She never voiced any concern about our relationship, and anytime I talked about him, she went on about how much he loved me, how lucky I was, etc. Also, we were raised religious, all of us, and she keeps guilting me that divorce is not okay, yet wants me to forgive cheating? I would look closer into why she is defending him so much. Did anything happen between the 2 of them as well? I can't imagine being friends with someone who failed your trust in such a serious way and is still acting against your interests by encouraging you to try couples therapy. She doesn't respect you, your feelings, or your wishes. She is just as guilty for being part of the conspiracy, covering up for him, and enabling his betrayal by staying silent. The fact that she continued to encourage you to pursue another IVF, while knowing that the daddy-to-be is a cheating POS, is really troubling and very cruel. I'm so sorry that they both failed you so badly. Not gonna lie, have been thinking about that constantly. I didn't ask. I didn't see anything like that in his phone when he came over, but 99% sure he deleted a lot and only let me see enough to look like he was being honest, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure, but not trusting anyone too much at the moment. Maybe she's been cheating on her husband and your ex threatened to tell him if she told you? I think it's more like she liked that her friend's life wasn't as great as her friend thought it was. Like, she's always been secretly jealous, and she loves knowing OP doesn't have it as good as she thinks she does, kind of thing. I'd tell her that she threw away 14 years to lie for your husband, and move on. She isn't your friend, she's his friend. That's how I feel too. She picked him over me. Or she picked her own husband over me, since he's pretty close with mine, and I'm sure he would have told her not to say anything. There's a million possibilities in my head, and none of them are good, so I think I have my answer. Her husband may be a cheater too. Get your divorce and get new friends.